Welcome, everybody. It's Internet Marketing Unleashed. I'm Scott Paton, the Dean of Blogonomics and Podology. Happy to have you here with me today. I'm very excited. I have an amazing guest. Thursdays are kind of an interesting day for me because I start off by recording a Udemy course with one of my co-instructors, and then I do a live stream for free-ebooks.net, and then I do a live stream for me. I thought, if I'm doing all of this recording, why aren't I doing something for myself? And this is all about internet marketing, things that are going on, hopefully ways that we can support you on your online journey. If you've got an offline business and you don't have a website or something, you are missing out. And then I record for two of my clients after this. So the whole day is me sitting down in front of a camera practically, or producing. And it's kind of fun because I thought, when I looked at this day, the schedule, this week, next week, and the following week, that it would be overwhelming. I'd be tired and everything else. And what I'm discovering is all of my guests are giving me so much energy and giving you so much energy that I hardly notice the time go by. And today's guest is no different. The reason I brought all that up is a week or two ago, he was one of my first guests on my free-ebooks.net show, because he works an awful lot with authors, and it was just awesome. And I was so excited about everything that he shared that I wanted to come on this show, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. So make sure you check out the free-ebooks.net show, and then come in and don't check it out until after you see this one, right? But and so I'm going to bring him on with us right now. Dan Morris, how are you doing? I'm happy.
That was funny, man.
I'm excited to have you here. And the way that we know each other is because a mutual friend of ours knows you, who obviously knows you, and you have this thing called BCStack every year. And my friends, Ricky Shetty, hey Ricky, in the Philippines, said, let's do this, Scott. And I said, okay, which is what I normally say to everybody that asks me to do something. And I don't know if it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, we're in year 6.
Yeah, I don't think it was the beginning.
You guys in year 2.
Year 2? It's been 5 years? Well, for 4 years and 11 months, I thought BCStack meant British Columbia, because that's where I come from. Stack. So,
yes. Yeah, no.
And of course, you've got bloggingconcentrated.com as your other site.
Yeah.
And BC is, so I know I'm going to stick with it's British Columbia Stack. And I also thought you were in British Columbia for 4 years, 11 months.
Really?
Well, because why would you go BCStack, which is British Columbia, unless you were not in BC? And of course, Ricky and I are both from BC, so I just assumed you were too.
No, I actually met Ricky in Toronto at a big blogging conference.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he
came out there and he heard us speak. And then afterwards he said, would you and Rachel come out to Vancouver and do a workshop for my audience in Vancouver?
Wow.
So we did 2 of those for Ricky out in Vancouver, 2 8-hour workshops.
Nice.
And then he was in the first year of the Stack. And I'm actually writing a book where I'm featuring Ricky.
Oh, good.
Yeah, which he doesn't even know yet.
Awesome.
And and then because he does something interesting. I mean, from an internet marketing standpoint, I'm writing this book about 4 methods of reaching people that are a little bit different.
Ricky is amazing that way.
Ricky's an unbelievable self-promoter, and he's somehow humble and gets you excited about the things that he's promoting in a way that's not salesy and skimpy. Yep. It's just like, wow, this guy's really excited about the things that he does. And he, unlike a lot of people, decided to dominate Vancouver by putting on all kinds of events, like in Vancouver. Like,
yes,
instead of trying to dominate the world, how about I just dominate this giant city with all these events? So I was writing a little bit about how he did that, and I thought that was a really interesting mindset to have.
Yeah.
Why
Well,
don't I?
there's enough money. There's enough money in any city that's got 1 million or more people to
Yeah,
make, for us to be quite happy, to live quite happily, right?
yeah,
And you're right. He really did dominate, and it was, from my perspective, and the reason I want to continue on this for a minute is because if you're listening or watching later now or later on, it's we often say, like, how many customers do you need, and people will say, oh, 10,000. The next one will say 12,000, and the next one will say 15,000, and someone will say 100,000, and I keep going, like, I just need 5. Right?
yeah,
And he was like, wow, there's enough business in Vancouver for me to be busy all the time and make all the money that I want.
yeah. He
And
did 5 events a year:
yeah,
blogging mastery, video mastery, internet marketing mastery. You had people pay to come, and you had speakers, and I just thought that was it's kind of like what we do, but it was a real world use of, like, not only the internet but his personality and what he does best.
yeah. And I've been to many of those types of events, which by that what I mean is there's a bunch of chairs, there's someone that speaks, and it's in a building, right?
Yeah,
And what blew me away was his sponsorships, because for me, okay, like, I teach podcasting, so if I want to sponsor, I'm thinking, who makes a mic like this?
yeah,
Who has a good audio program to do post production? Where can I host it? Who can make my website? Like, that's what I'm thinking, right? And it's all related to podcasting. He's going, who's got the best brownies?
yeah,
Who's got the best shake? And so when you have the break, he's promoting all of these. They're almost all food, right? So everybody goes and they buy the coffee instead of getting the free coffee. You could get free coffee, but you're buying it because this guy's got the Choco Moco Espresso Latte
yes,
Americano version with whipped cream on top. And who wouldn't want that instead of the plain coffee? And someone else is eating, some sort of food. And you never had to, I don't think you ever really had to leave to go eat, because there was food there that was either being sampled and you could buy. It was sampled and you could buy.
yeah,
And I had never, ever seen anything like that, because usually if it's an insurance conference, then it's all the insurance companies have their tables, right? Or if it's weight loss, it's all the weight loss people are there. You never have somebody that's, like, the car dealership isn't at the weight loss conference, but he would do that, right? Because it was just amazing. He thought
his mindset might come from the blogging world, because he was daddyblogger.ca.
Yeah.
In the mommy and daddy blogger world, brownies and other stuff like that, they are the normal sponsors that come in the blog. So I think this is a good topic. There's 2 other stories in this book that I'm writing, or I have been for like 2 years. And the other one is David Dutton here in Nashville. He does something else that's interesting, internet marketing wise, that's outside of internet marketing, but still together, like Ricky. And that is, he writes books about like the best doctors in Nashville, or he writes the best marketers in Nashville. You write a book and then he profiles the person, and then he gets that person to then carry that book in their office. Like, hey, here, buy 1,000 books for your office. It has you featured in this book. And then he sells them online. And I thought, man, that is just a different way. Like,
Yes.
Get someone else, and then you end up selling books that way. I thought, that is.
Right.
Then even sell bulk books, like he'd sell it.
Yeah.
Dentists in Nashville, and every dentist would buy 1,000 copies of this book for their patients and stuff. And I thought, that is cool.
That is really a good idea. And we had mentioned Daniel a minute ago, and he's got a nice comment for you, Dan.
Oh yeah,
it's the Dan fan club.
Well, Daniel Hall, he does something interesting.
He does.
What I like about Daniel Hall is he puts on. He does more than this, but one of the things he does is he puts together webinars where he interviews someone or talks to someone about a product or a topic. But unlike most of the people in our space who do something similar, Daniel always has a really interesting, innovative topic. You know,
Yes.
like how to sell bulk books to big companies.
Right.
You know, or just, you know, I think he had Tony Leydig on one time about how to use public domain content. And his topics always seem to be something that you either have never even thought about or never heard of before, but then he's got an expert on. And he's like building a business on, if you listen to me, I'm going to keep you ahead of everyone else, because everyone else is doing something totally different, and 90% of that stuff is wrong. So let me show you this one thing that's unbelievably crazy. And this guy's selling bulk books to companies, you know, selling like 10,000 books at once, ebooks.
Yeah.
Like
Kindles. We were just talking about some of the things that before I let him go, I asked him a couple questions about how he converts podcasts into Kindle books. And
oh yeah, that's an odd topic. You wouldn't just normally come up with that.
Yeah, and I'm on his list, and every week here's the webinar he's doing, and I go, I wish I'd have thought of that.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's a really good idea. He's amazing.
One thing that we've been doing is for clients is industry surveys.
Oh.
So we create an actual survey, like using SurveyMonkey, but we're asking the kinds of questions that an industry would be interested in. So our most recent was with SpeakingLatino.com, and Jared, who runs that, came up with all kinds of questions that his Spanish teachers, you know, would be interested in, because Spanish teachers or world language teachers, excuse me, a language teacher in a school is sometimes the only professional in that realm. So like an English teacher, you know, there's like 10 other English teachers, one for each grade, and then, you know, 3 per class, but sometimes there's only one German teacher. So they don't necessarily have other people to collaborate with. So he's like, let's do a survey where we can, all the questions that they have, we'll just answer it, because people will answer them anonymously about their administration, about their pay, about their work conditions, about their curriculum. And then from that, we create a report. And this is the cool part, like a real report, you know, like 50 or 60 pages, but that goes through all the answers. And then, like, here's the ramification of those answers. Here's what that means. And then we also go find industry experts and say, hey, we did a survey. Here was the answer. Do you have comment on this answer? And then we put the industry experts' answer or response into the book.
Oh, that's awesome.
We send the survey to everyone. Like right now, the United States government, I don't know if you know this, but the reason that we teach world languages in school, like Spanish and German, is because the Department of Defense told government, we don't have people to handle our international issues. We need the public school system to teach kids languages, so when they get to the military, we have people who actually can speak different languages.
Right.
So there are organizations in the government that are interested in the status of world languages. So we send the survey to the government, and then like every single association, the Association of Spanish Teachers, the Association of International Association of German Teachers, the Association of Spanish Teachers in New Mexico, or in, you know, like 600 organizations want this survey. And
right.
The survey comes from the website, so then they use the survey data and graphs and, you know, status updates, and in their email reports out to their email audience. So, I mean, all of those are different ways to like reach a real world audience that are just sort of outside the norm of email marketing and Instagram.
Right. And they all want that information.
Yeah, they definitely, because they need it. Because when you go look at all of the industry information about even the government statistics on language teachers, they reference surveys that either they gave or someone else gave. Like, here's where we got this information. Here's where we got.
Right.
Like, we couldn't even find out how many world language teachers exist in the United States. Like, that data doesn't exist anywhere.
Right.
So in the report, we showed all of the places that estimate how many teachers there are. And then we came up with our own, like, this is how many world language teachers there are based on, here's what this group says, here's what this group says, here's what this group estimates. So here's the number that we're coming up with, which I think is going to be the number that everyone references. So they're going to reference that to this website, go see the results. But anyway, it's just another real world application of using your information in your business in a real world situation.
That's a great example. So do you send the survey free to the associations?
Oh yeah.
And then they get it. And then the survey, of course, will say, we'll use the marketing term, upsell them into the book. Because if they like the survey, then they're going to want to know what the experts are saying. Do I have that right?
We actually send the book for free. Like, we want everyone to have the book, for it to be a useful tool for everyone instead of a revenue generator. But the book actually sells Speaking Latino. Like, hey, this is a community for Spanish teachers, so come back and join the community.
I see.
If they want to share it, like, come back, send your people to, I forget what, maybe it's /survey to get not only the book, but you can actually see the survey questions and results. Like, if you're not satisfied just seeing the graphs, go get the actual questions by putting your name and email in. And then that grows the community of people that are interested in world languages, which is what Jared is specialized in.
Right. And then you have a back end that you sell later on.
Yeah, he's got a membership for world language teachers, with curriculum and all kinds of stuff, which there isn't a lot of places on the net for that particularly. So he's got a nice niche of, hey, if you teach Spanish, we've got workbooks, we've got supplementary material, we've got songs, we've got all these things that you can use in your classroom. Just come here and we got everything you need. Nice.
I've never heard of that type of strategy for bookmark. Well, it's not really book marketing as much as it is using a book to bring together the community, right? Because if nobody knows how many world language teachers there are in the United States, then that's a pretty good indication that those people are orphaned.
Yeah.
They might find the odd Facebook group or something that's like for German teachers or German teachers in Albuquerque or something.
Yeah.
But really, and you're right. Like when I think about going to school, we had French teachers. We had to learn French, so there was a few of those. We had Latin as an elective, and there was one teacher who taught Latin.
Yeah.
So and I don't know if there was one teacher that taught Latin in every high school or just the odd high school, right?
But then that person goes to the teacher lounge, and who do they collaborate with?
And nobody and really, you've got 5 or 10 math teachers. Well, they're going to all sit together and talk about algorithms, and you're the Latin teachers. Like, you're sitting all by yourself with nobody to talk to because who understands Latin? And right. And it's really funny, as a dead language, I didn't like taking it at the time, but I am so happy that I did, because I understand a lot of the foundations of English and Spanish and right, and how the conjugations and all sorts of things that that aren't in the English language, that I would just, now that I'm learning Spanish, hola, it helps because I can see how they congregate and all sorts of different things that I wouldn't have had before, which shocked me.
When you travel and you can see even 5 letters together that what they mean, because they either came from Latin, like, oh, well, this probably means library because these letters are in it.
That's right. I can kind of read at a low, like grade 2 level or 3 level, but enough to kind of get the understanding what they're saying. Listening is actually really difficult because I put the wrong letters in, because they'll say G's differently or J's differently. All that sort of stuff.
I speak Romanian.
Neat.
Which is like Italian. But when I lived in Romania, my friend Peg, she did the listening for me. She would tell me what they said, and then I could speak back. Right. But she couldn't speak it. And I could speak it, but I couldn't hear it. So you'd be like, that guy just told you that you need to go left by the bus station. I'd be like, oh, well, thank you. We'll go left at the bus station.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I can't. I'm just hearing, but I can speak it.
So you have a great event that occurs annually, and Let's talk a little bit about it. That's the BCStack, the British Columbia Stack.
Business courses. So I would say.
Oh, hold on a second. Is it short for business courses?
Yeah.
It's not short for Blogging Central?
No.
Oh my goodness. So I had two things that I thought BC stood for, and I was wrong on both counts.
Yes, business course. That's funny.
That is hilarious. So BCStack is coming up, and so what is it?
It is another of the examples that we've shown today. It is another sort of a real world example of marketing, growing your reach, and this one is a revenue generator. So what we do every year is, well, this started when we were doing workshops. We used to do, like I said, for Ricky, we used to do these 8-hour workshops, and we traveled the world doing the workshops. And when we were in New Zealand, I remember mentioning Gary Vaynerchuk in a discussion, and some of the people didn't know who that was. So on the plane on the way home, Rachel and I were talking about, isn't it interesting that the internet isn't necessarily the great equalizer that I thought it might be? Because we met a bunch of really great people when we traveled the world that we'd never heard of before, who were doing really big things. And then some of the people doing big things here, they had never heard of. So we thought, what if we created a product where we introduced them to our experts, and vice versa, our people to their experts? Because one of the, I would say the failability of Facebook is that you get inside a Facebook group and you ask a question, and you get the same answers that they've given for the last 3 years. And as a matter of fact, it's the same questions. Like if you go into any sort of WordPress group, like it's the same, should I use this plugin for SEO? Like it's the exact same question all over again. But when you travel to New Zealand, they have a totally different plugin that they're using. So we have found that somehow Facebook is almost like ancestral. Like everybody's just answering the same questions they had before. It's like one family of answers. So we thought if we could actually introduce people to ideas from all over the world, we could sort of be the great equalizer instead of the internet. So we created this product called BCStack, where we take 65 courses, actually full, they're not always courses, but for full products from 65 different marketers around the world. Big names, Joel Comm and Tony Robinson, Jarek, and this year Rachel Miller. Who else? We have Jay Fazette from JVology, which you probably know, Scott. So lots of people from all over. Hopefully, every year it's 90% new people that you've never heard of before. That's the idea. You're supposed to learn stuff from people that you've never met, so that you get new ideas and new information. So then everybody donates basically a product into the stack, and then we sell them all as one group for $47. And then the experts, now the benefit for them, because they've just given like a $299 course or $500 course, they're basically giving away for free. But the idea is for that expert to then grow a new audience. So everybody who signs up for that course ends up, in their world. And they were like, oh, these people are interested in video marketing. And, somebody else that has a different course, we actually have a legal kit for internet marketers in the stack this year. So anybody who's interested in that will end up on her email list, and we'll get to more information about the legal side of doing business online. Like, what if you use a pick that you're not supposed to use? Like, what happens, or how do you know which music you can use, or what's your privacy policy supposed to say, and like all those things. So all of the experts grow a new audience. They get new people. They get to talk to people that they've never heard before. And then the audience themselves, they get 65 new products that they never would have gotten, outside of this together. And then we use about 400 affiliates. I hope we get to 500 this year. And then affiliates, for them, it's a way to make money to feed their families. I mean, so last year we paid one person over $20,000 in affiliate money, for just 1 week of work. And that, I'm sure that did a lot for her family. For her business, I think she actually renovated the studio or did something that she wasn't able to do before. So
that's awesome.
So everybody wins. Everybody gets something, a big chunk of it. And we do it once a year. And this year it's July 19th to the 25th. And we actually do another one in October called Podcaster's Kit, which is all about podcasting. But BCStack is pretty much digital marketing, all the business courses around digital marketing, whether it's YouTube or LinkedIn or TikTok or the legal side or blogging. We have Summit in a Box, Kristen Miller this year. So if you're interested in doing,
neat.
Summit, there's the whole how to do a virtual summit is there. I mean, just so many things, time management, there you go on there. So yeah, that comes up in 8 days, and it only lasts a week.
10 days.
10. Oh, it's in 10 days. Phew! I'm glad. I have 10 more days to put that together.
And you have a pre-buy, right?
Yep. Yeah, we always do. Well, we haven't always done that. In fact, as I have grown as a marketer, I have actually, I'm not sure I would say learned, but I'll say that people have suggested things.
Yes.
I hadn't thought of before, and I've been very grateful. For instance, after the very first one, somebody said, "Why don't you pre-sell the next one, like as the upsell? Like if you don't have one, just pre-sell the next one."
Right.
And I thought, well, next year we'll do that, and we did that the following year, and I was like, wow, that was pretty awesome. We sold a bunch. I didn't think of it. So every year, either we try something or somebody suggests something that just makes it a whole lot better. And I hate to say that I learned it, but I definitely have been told a few times that maybe you should do it this way. And then
I want to jump in for a second, Dan, because a lot of what you're just talking about in terms of suggestions and everything else end up in your emails to the contributors of your to the BCStack, which I tend to be one of. And I really appreciate the fact that you are so open to ideas and encouraging of new ideas. And I remember, I don't know I forget what the question was or the suggestion was. It just came across my desk a few days ago, and I thought, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. And I think when that happens, it's all part of actually what Daniel Hall and I were talking about in terms of the mastermind, right? We have people, everyone's a little bit different perception, perspective, I meant to say. And all of a sudden, what about this or what about that? And it's like, oh yeah. And when it's given when it's like a gift, then you take it and you say, yeah, we can use it or maybe not. I mean, not all ideas are going to get used, or implemented right away, but thank you very much. And I think that's a really important reason for the success, because you don't just say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm going to sell a bunch of your stuff for a few bucks, so give it to me. It's you are creating a community and a tribe and of people that are looking forward to actually making something and contributing it to the BCStack every year.
Oh yeah. Hey, I don't know what happened this year, and I think maybe it's COVID related, maybe. But this is the first year where I have had over 150 people reach out and say, "Can I be in the stack this year?" Usually it's 20.
Wow.
It's been nuts. And in fact, right now, I have said yes to 82 people, even though there's only 65 in the stack, because I know the deadline to get me your information and get your page set up and get me your graphic, usually I have to sweat the last few days. I'm like, oh, please get it to me.
Right.
But this year, I had so many people that want to. I decided I'm not going to sweat this year. The first 65 people that give me their stuff are in. The rest of you are out. That's what I decided. I'm going to make life easier for me this year.
That's good for you. Good for
Yeah,
you.
pretty excited about that. I might make if there's more than 65, we might have a couple bonuses. But here's
Sure.
a lesson for you. Here's a lesson. I always have 68 products in the stack because
Oh,
somebody will complain about one of the products. They'll
right.
say, I didn't really need this, or I didn't realize it when I got this at the time, but I actually bought this from this person last year. Like, something like that.
Right. Right.
And I found that when I say, well, the good news is I promised that you would get 65. Since you already had that one and there's 68, you actually have 66. So I don't have to worry about saying, I didn't.
Yeah. How do you deal with someone like that in terms of a customer issue, right?
That's
Oh,
what
I got another course for you. Here you go.
Yes. So I've learned a few other things about, and in fact, one of the upsells this year is we're going to teach people how to do the stack, because we did one for Speaking Latino last year for the Spanish site. We do Brave Basket, which is the same concept for Rachel's FindingJoy.net motherhood site. And then we do the podcast one in October. Right. And the great part about Stack is that I get to meet and work with and provide a new audience or provide revenue for, I think 5,000 people so far over the course of the life of the Stack.
Beautiful.
So the contributors and the affiliates. Somehow I'm either giving you a bunch of money or I'm giving you a new audience. And so I've got friends, I'm providing value to people, which is, I think, is great. And
that is
not only that, I can use it as a stepping stone to reach the people in the industry who you would consider to be the top people in the industry. Otherwise, I didn't really have a way to reach them. But, we got John Lee Dumas in the very first one. And because Rachel knew John, and when John said yes, I said, hey, John Lee Dumas is going to be in the stack. Would you like to be in the stack? And Joel Comm said yes, because I knew him. So now I'm like, hey, Joel Comm and John and John Dumas are going to be in the stack. Would you like to be in the stack? So it kind of snowballed itself the first year. And now I'm working my way. I'm working my way to Tony Robbins. It's one of my goals. Tony Robbins.
Good one.
I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's one of my goals is to get one of his things in the stack. So working my way up, and I think, we could get 10,000 sales or so. I think it's kind of it's like a good thing now. And we're in year 6. We've proven ourselves.
Yeah, and it's growing, which is great.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that you've kind of created a template that you can put into completely different industries and categories of business.
Oh, there should be no niche you couldn't do this in.
Exactly.
Because the people in your niche, whether you're jogging or in the fish world, everybody has a bookshelf with books on that topic. If you're interested in the topic, you have books. And you don't consider them competing books or competing authors. They're just books on your shelf, because you like topic. So,
if somebody was a fishing fanatic and they only bought in their life one book, we would think they were insane.
They wouldn't be a fishing fanatic.
They wouldn't be a fishing fanatic. You got to have a bookshelf full of books.
Yeah. So
or an iPad full of books.
Then, if that's the case, then you should be able to create something for that audience. I bet you could easily do it for fishing. Is find all the fishing fanatics who have either courses or topics or concepts about how to do this in fishing, how to do that, and put them all together. And then you make friends with all the other people, and you get to serve an entirely new audience. It's kind of a no-brainer.
And then when we're able to travel around, you could travel around and you'd be fishing all the best fishing holes with all your new buddies who are keen fishers, right?
No, I will say this. I don't know if you would call this like a ninja tip or something, but one of the ways that we decided to do this for Rachel's audience, the motherhood audience, is I wasn't completely familiar with who the experts were in the motherhood world. So first I decided to create a spreadsheet with like what I called the motherhood universe. All the top books, the top Amazon people, the top Udemy people, the top Facebook people, the top people at today.com, motherhood, the Huffington Post people. And then I thought, you know what we're going to do first? We're going to send every single one of these people the simple question. And that is, can you tell us what motherhood means, in one paragraph? And we're going to put all of these paragraphs into this epic post on her site. So all of these people, the editor of Good Housekeeping magazine, she sent us back, this is what motherhood means to me. The editor of Motherhood magazine. So then I put them into this unbelievable post on findingjoy.net. When it gets shared, hundreds of thousands of times, all these people.
Right.
What is motherhood? And now I have the opening for, hey, you did this roundup with us. Now we're going to do this new thing. Would you like to participate?
Perfect.
So
yeah, that's a beautiful strategy for breaking the ice, because so many people get, oh, I understand, something about making a book, Dan. Can you buy my book on how to make a book, or can you, or can you, teach me for free? Or they're always asking, where you've enabled them to receive something and contribute. Everyone wants to contribute, and then you go from there to the next step. So you didn't ask them to marry you on the first touch.
Now, if you are daunted by all those ideas, because they're pretty grandiose, like I make 100 cold calls a year for the Stack. People I've never heard of, I've never met, but I found a product, I love the product, I'm like, hey, I got to go after that person. So if that concept is daunting, this third person that I'm putting in my book about real world marketing ideas is Jason Elkins. He's here in Nashville, and he does something called 100 cups of coffee.
Oh, wow.
He needed a job. So he decided for 100 days, he was going to have coffee with someone and ask them about what they do, see how he could help them. And then he wrote this glowing thing on Facebook about this person. Here's what they do. Here's what they're good at. Here's what I loved about meeting with them. And people started asking, can I come have coffee with you? Because they knew that they would be featured on his 100 cups of coffee thing. But then each one of these people, like, he would ask, how can I help you? They knew someone who might need Jason's help. Like, hey, I know this guy that needs internet marketing help over here. And he ended up getting a job, or getting enough money, enough jobs. Like, he didn't even need to do the 100 cups. I think he was like, in 30 days, he'd already got all the jobs that he needed. But he still ended up doing 100 cups, and he made it kind of into I think even a membership or a course or something called 100 Cups of Coffee. But it's just another way where you meet people, and then you use that moment online, highlight them, and then other people ask you about it, and then people learn about who you are through those, and they want to be part of it. Now people are offering you jobs because they know what you do. And I just thought, man, that's just another cool idea. Like Ricky, like David Dutton, like BCStack, all ways where you actually interact with humans and the internet at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great story, Dan. Thanks for sharing it. It's and I think what is the theme throughout all of this is you're giving before you're getting.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is so important, because in today's world, it just seems like everyone wants to get, and that's just not, that's survival, because you'll eventually find, I mean, that's hard survival, right? You'll eventually find somebody that will, give you a buck or something for a cup of coffee, but it's a lot better if you give, and then everybody wants to give back to you. And it's just human nature. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know how we started this, but once I thought about the book, I realized, hey, we could talk about all kinds of real world marketing ideas, including the Stack in this call, because they're all interesting.
They are interesting. And we've kind of come to the end of our time together. And I really want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I know the BCStack is coming up fast. That takes up a lot of time, and you put a lot of energy and work into it. Oh, yeah. And to take an hour out of your day and to be with me and our audience is amazing. So thank you. Let me just click the right button here. It's BCStack 2020. The time is now. BCStack.com. Any last comments you want to make before we sign off, Dan?
Well, in our audience, Chad Fullerton, who has been in the stack for quite a few years, yesterday sent me, he's a web designer. He sent me a new sales page. He was like, I'm a web designer. I created this entire new sales page for you. So in the next day or two, this most wonderful person in my world, Chad Fullerton, is helping me create a sales page and a web look that we've never had before. And I never had, I mean, it was just so cool
that is really neat.
So if you go to the site in the next day or two, it's going to look totally different because it's been pretty much homegrown since the beginning. I'm not very good at web design. I get it done. Like you saw, that page is done. It's okay.
That's right. It's okay. It's going to be spectacular in a few days.
Yes, it is. He showed it to me, and I was like, holy mackerel, dude. What are people going to think when they see this? They're going to think that somebody bought BCStack or something because it's not going to look like I did it. So, anyway,
so you can pre-purchase now, or you can wait till July 15th. Oh, I'm sorry, I got the date.
No, July. If you pre-purchase now, it's $32, but if you wait till the 19th, it's $47.
There we go. I had the 19th to the 15th, so now we've got it right. Awesome.
There you go. Yeah, thanks. It's benefit to buy now. I'll tell you that.
It is. So head over to www.bcstack.com. Check it all out. And Dan, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate you and all the things that you do. And I really appreciate all the knowledge that you shared today. It's been pretty phenomenal.
Well, thanks for having me on, man. We always talk about good stuff.
We always do. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is Internet Marketing Unleashed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.